The Canadian government has announced that it will impose 25% tariffs on all vehicles imported from the United States that are not compliant with CUSMA or North American regulations. This move is in response to President Trump's imposition of tariffs on foreign-made vehicles, which affected Canada. Tesla is feeling the heat from American automakers, and concerns have been raised about the impact on the market. The Canadian Prime Minister, Mark Carney, has committed to protecting Canadian industry and asserting its sovereignty. The tariffs will affect non-Canadian components of American-made cars, even if they are compliant with the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement. The tariffs also exclude American companies willing to maintain production and investment in Canada. The U.S. has implicitly gone against previous trade relationships, and Canada is determined to assert its sovereignty. The former Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau had previously mentioned to former Prime Minister Trudeau that he intended to make Canada the 51st American state, which he dismissed as a joke. As the trade war intensified without Canada being spared, Trump's remarks started rubbing Canadian officials the wrong way. Canada imposed retaliatory tariffs on $125 billion worth of U.S. goods EVs, including Tesla and other American auto manufacturers. Carney stated that the revenue collected from these tariffs would be directed to auto workers and affected companies. He also announced plans to offer a $2 billion incentive to Canadian automakers to boost domestic production. In conclusion, the Canadian government's decision to impose 25% tariffs on American-made vehicles is a bold and unexpected move that could potentially disrupt the auto industry and affect Canadian automakers. Tesla, a leading electric vehicle company, has been facing challenges in accessing the Canadian market due to the 25% tariffs imposed by Trump on foreign vehicles. U.S. companies such as Stellantis and Tuca have halted production in their Windsor plant in Tuca, Mexico, where the Jeep Compass is manufactured. This shutdown has affected suppliers in Ontario who were working with these assembly plants. Elon Musk is raising the prices of Tesla cars in Canada starting February 1st, with the Model 3's price increasing by $9,000, while Model Y prices are expected to rise by around $12,000. Tesla is currently in the middle of trade wars, having been forced to adjust its supply strategy when Canada imposed a 100% tariff on Chinese EVs earlier this year. The tariffs forced Tesla to start supplying the Canadian market from its American bases in Fremont and Texas. Tesla is facing challenges in accessing the Canadian market, as there are no alternatives at the moment, and the company is already experiencing cost pressures. It could use its Giga Berlin factory, but only produces Model Y, which is not a foolproof plan. Some Tesla models have hiked their prices by up to $6,000 in Canada. In a viral video, former NASA engineer and YouTuber Mark Carney tests Tesla's self-driving technology in 6 tests. Tesla failed 4 of them, while the Lexus was able to detect a mannequin and brake in time. The purpose of self-driving systems is to enhance road safety by creating advanced technology that prevents potential accidents. However, Elon Musk has maintained that there is no need for LAR technology on Teslas, as they are expensive and unnecessary. To address this issue, Mark carried out a test where he placed a mannequin in the middle of the road, and the 2 cars passed the test. This test highlights the importance of using advanced AI in self-driving vehicles, as our brains constantly calculate depth movement and context. Equipping self-driving vehicles with just a camera and AI is impractical, as we don't just use our eyes when driving. The LiDAR system, equipped with lasers that shoot thousands of beams in a fraction of a second, can map out a 3D image of its surroundings. Cameras see in 2D and cannot accurately measure depth movement and context. The built-in AI can help identify objects and analyze their shape, but it still needs complex software. In a 3rd test, Mark set up fog machines and placed the mannequin amidst the fog. The Tesla failed this test, while the Lexus was able to detect the mannequin and brake in time. This is because the Tesla camera sees foggy conditions as reduced visibility, which explains why the Tesla was not able to brake on time. Tesla's self-driving feature is highly flawed, and it is essential to consider the potential risks associated with relying on AI to interpret road imagery. The LiDAR system, equipped with up to 1.5 million laser pulses every second, can accurately detect moving objects and calculate their speed in real time, making it more suitable for extreme weather conditions. In a series of tests, Tesla's self-driving system faced challenges in various conditions, including fog, rain, and heavy glare. In one test, water jets were used to create a rain simulation, where both cars were supposed to detect the mannequin during intense rainfall. The Lexus successfully broke before hitting the obstruction, while the Tesla did not. The water droplets on the screen caused motion blur, which can make the AI system misinterpret obstacles on the road. Tesla relies on AI for interpretation, and motion blur can make it misinterpret obstacles on the road. In contrast, the LAR system, which can penetrate any obstacle, does not need to see an object in the traditional sense. In another test, Mark and his team created an illusion of a fake tunnel on a solid wall, inspired by the classic Looney Tunes cartoon. Both cars were supposed to identify the wall as a barrier and stop just in time. The Lexus correctly detected the wall as a barrier and broke in time, while the Tesla completely destroyed the wall. These 6 tests have affected Tesla's finances and reputation. Many consumers have applauded Mark for the exposé, citing that it is good for the general public to know the dangers of buying Tesla's self-driving system. However, many have noted some inconsistencies in the video and call out Mark for trying to destroy the company's reputation. Some have noted that the self-driving feature disengages before the accidents happen. But only time will tell. Tesla's unsupervised self-driving car is set for release later this year, and many consumers are concerned about Elon Musk's relationship with President Trump, which could lead to federal investigations. Other countries, such as Germany, France, and China, have already sworn off Tesla for China, fearing their data being stolen by the United States. European countries are leaning towards less controversial and safer brands, with BYD taking over the entire Asian market. The EV industry is also growing in other countries, with people favoring brands like Volkswagen and Polestar. Tesla's stock has plummeted by 42% in the last year alone, with 15% of its shares dropping in a single day on March 10th. As a result, it remains uncertain whether Tesla will continue to release self-driving cars. In addition to potentially losing its Canadian market, Tesla will be hit in more ways than one. The company relies on Canada for minerals like nickel, lithium, and cobalt used in battery manufacturing, and there are no alternatives. The US accounts for 59% of Canadian mineral exports, unlike General Motors and Ford. Tesla does not have an assembly plant in Canada, so potential export restrictions could be fatal for Tesla. Canadian Minister of Energy Jonathan Wilkinson made the following statement: "The Canadian government has imposed tariffs on US-made vehicles and components, causing public pressure and a potential threat to the automotive industry. The tariffs are seen as a direct attack on Canada, leading to boycotts of American products and increased public pressure on Canadian officials. Tesla is likely to face financial and operational challenges due to its heavy reliance on cross-border raw materials and components. The Canadian tariffs target US-made vehicles or components entering Canadian soil, which puts Atlantis Ford and GM in a geopolitical war. Vehicles may cross borders up to 7 times before assembly is complete, making it more expensive every time a part crosses a border. This risk of taxation or delay due to new regulations will lead to higher costs and disruption of the supply chain, slowing down production. General Motors will be the worst hit, as it has extensive operations in Canada and Mexico. These tariffs are set to increase vehicle prices by thousands of dollars, making American companies less competitive in the Canadian market. The US auto industry is being dragged in the mud by these trade wars, while other auto manufacturers in China and Europe are taking advantage of the chaos to establish themselves as stable, innovative vehicle providers, offering affordability and filling supply gaps. China is an aggressive competitor, with Canada imposing a 100% tariff on all their EVs, making it an impossible market for China to penetrate. Meanwhile, European companies like Volkswagen, BMW, and Mercedes-Benz have established themselves in the North American market, using this time to further extend their influence. In conclusion, the Canadian government's tariffs have led to increased public pressure on Canadian companies, including Tesla, and BYD, who are heavily reliant on the cross-border flow of raw materials and components. As a result, the US auto industry faces a potential threat from other auto manufacturers, such as China and Europe, who are taking advantage of the situation to establish themselves as stable, innovative vehicle providers. The trade wars between Canada and the US have led to a global realignment of the automotive industry, with foreign car makers excelling in compact electric vehicles, EVs, battery technology, and sustainable sourcing. Canadian dealerships are already seeking non-American alternatives, and the North American supply chain is forced to fragment and localize. European and Chinese automakers are working to secure raw materials faster, streamline logistics, and create strategic partnerships, enabling them to excel in these areas. As a result, consumers seeking advanced technology, reliability, and affordability are switching to foreign automakers. This comes at a time when average transaction prices are near record highs, and many subprime borrowers are falling behind on car loan payments. As these tariffs take effect, Americans will experience a shortage caused by supply chain disruptions, which automatically increases vehicle prices. Fewer cars will reach car dealerships, and even if they do, they will sell quickly. The increased price will price out a significant portion of the car buying population in America. The impending supply chain interruption on materials such as nickel, lithium, and steel will create this shortage again, leading to a shortage-driven inflation. Just like their Canadian counterparts, Americans will have to bear the weight of retaliatory tariffs due to Trump's imposition of a 25% levy on all foreign-made vehicles. Americans are continuously incurring high prices to buy a new car, with experts estimating that they are paying up to $12,000 on top of what they used to pay. Leasing becomes riskier now, and the cost of repair is also affected. If new cars are expensive and it is impossible to fix an existing car, consumers may be stuck. The implications of Canada's 25% tariffs on US-produced vehicles are significant, and it is unclear whether Canada will back down or if President Trump needs a reawakening.